Hello and welcome to the 2023 Experimental Film Odyssey Awards video. I am Jason Brazier. I am the festival director and producer. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and thank you to everyone who entered this year. Um, every year I do this, we get so many amazing entries, and it becomes harder and harder every time I have to choose a official selection. But as I watch the entries, I was both moved and inspired and in awe of the art you guys created. And it was amazing. It was so rejuvenated, and it motivated me as a filmmaker and storyteller to keep creating and to keep pressing forward. So I thank you for taking the time to enter your project into this festival, into this contest, and sharing that. So thank you very much for that. Now, this year, we are located in central Missouri, just down the road from Columbia, Missouri, in Jeff City. And in Columbia, Missouri, is one of the biggest documentary festivals in the United States, called the True False Film Festival. And I wanted to bring them up because currently they experienced here a couple months ago a fire, and it burns their offices. And they are currently still planning to do the festival in February, I believe. But they have a fund to help cover those costs on the fire. And that, if you go to truefalse.org/giving, that'll be there for that. But you could also just go to truefalse.org to get more information, not only on that, but their upcoming festival. If you ever want to attend, it's amazing. I attended last year. I highly suggest attending. But now that we are in central Missouri and in Jeff City, my hope in 2024 is to, one, either to make this festival an in-person event, or two, keep it as is, but hold EFO related events and screenings of entries or past winners or something to that effect. So stay tuned. I'm trying to get all the logistics of that worked out because I'm in a new area. And hopefully moving forward, we'll be able to do a lot more than just the online awards show, but be able to do some other things with that. That's the hope and the plan and the goal. So stay tuned for that moving forward. And now I know that I've been talking, so let's get to the awards, shall we? And just before we get into that, remember the videos of the winners, or actually not just the winners, but the official selections will be up for a couple of days following this video, so you can still go back and watch it, but we will take those videos down after a while because it's their videos. I don't own them. I'm going to take them down, and so they can keep entering into other festivals and so on. So after this award show, just remember that they'll be up for 2 or 3 days after, and then we'll take them down. Also, winners, you'll be notified the day after the festival or a day or two after the festival, depending on timing, and you'll be able to get your certificate and awards info and things like that. So without further ado, let's get to the first award. And that first award is the Surreal Award. And this film, try that again. And now for the first award, which is the Surreal Award. This award goes to the film I Was There. This is an experimental documentary that was both simultaneously haunting, moving, and a punch in the gut. The way the footage is melded together with this rare eyewitness to the Hiroshima bombing is hauntingly beautiful and moving. Like I said, it's just, you're in awe of it. It's such a fantastic documentary, and the way the film is melded together to this amalgamation of preparation for the bomb and how it was affecting people and all the secrets that they were doing leading up to it's just, and then hearing the eyewitness, all of that put together is just creates a beautiful work of art. So thank you for sharing. So again, the Surreal Award winner this year is the film I Was There. Thank you for sharing that, and congratulations. The second award is the Ice Slice Award, and which is happily named after that very provoking scene that we're still talking about today from Louis Buñuel and Salvador Dali's Un Chien Andalou. And the winner for this award this year is A Streetcar Named Desire. This film comes all the way to us from Hungary. And I made a few notes here that I'm going to read because it was such, I had to write my thoughts down too. The film is amazing, simply put. From start to finish, it is a meditation on, I mean, I guess as I stated in the description, if I may read it here, the soul-stirring power of desire, which sometimes breaks down walls and sometimes build walls within us. It is a beautiful meditation on everyday dark desires that everyone has. And not even just dark desires, just desires in general that everyone has. And some may act on those desires and others may not act on those, and they are haunted by the what if or knowing that they can't. This film really, really describes that beautifully. I had to watch it 3 or 4 times just because I thought it was just so wonderful and beautiful and thought-provoking. So beautifully done, beautiful acting, beautiful acting, everything in front of the camera and behind the camera. Everybody did an amazing job on this film. So A Streetcar Named Desire is this year's Ice Slice Award winner. So thank you for sharing this work with us. Thank you. And finally, the last award of this year is the Abstract Award, which pretty much kind of speaks for itself. And this year's award goes to a film that I'm not going to try to be too emotional about, but watching it and reading what it was about in the description and going back and watching it again, it just almost brings me to tears. And that film is called This Fragile Present Moment, a dirge for sweet things lost. And this film is a moving postcard to grief, sorrow, and remembrance. It's about overcoming depression and anger and transferring it into transferring that into a work of art, if you will. And the film is a visually moving postcard to grief, sorrow, and remembrance. It's about transferring all of that into art. Is probably the best way I can put it. And to the film's director, Kirsten Hudson, I hope I said your name correctly. I do apologize if I didn't. You state in your description that since the loss of your son 14 years ago, you collected and preserved sympathy flowers. I'm going to read what your description says. You preserved sympathy flowers given to you as expressions of condolence, apology flowers presented as silent requests for forgiveness, and thanking of you flowers sent to communicate care and support in difficult times. And then you shot this on 16 millimeter and made it into a visual piece of art. It is hard to put into words the feelings I got watching this. And but it hits home in a way for me. I have not lost a child or anything by any means, and I know nothing will ever compare to that. But the way you took all this and depression and anxiety and this void and transferred it into film. I started, I'm pretty new to the experimental film um, spectrum here because I started doing it during the pandemic and during quarantine and after quarantine. I kept doing it after quarantine, but I have said it before and I'll say it again. Experimental film saved my life. It showed me something like I wasn't listening to myself, and this stuff was coming out in my films, and I realized I needed help, and I went and got therapy, and um, I I don't regret that one bit. And if it wasn't for me doing these experimental films, I would never have probably done that. And so, for you to take 14 years of sorrow and translate it into this film, you've taken sorrow and made it into, in my interpretation, something beautiful. And I hope that in doing the film that it helped you work through your pain. And though nothing will ever be able to fill the void of losing a child, I hope that in you doing this film and that those who watch it, they will be able to be inspired and moved to be able to turn anything they're going through into a work of art. Because there's something about taking those feelings and putting them visually into something like that and sharing it with others. It's like a dream. And people may interpret dreams differently. But there's one thing that I got. Because when I watch films like this, when I know that's going to be a more of an art piece, I try to watch the video first before I look at the description, just so I can get that raw energy and not have any preconceived notions. And I felt the sorrow and deepness of it before I read the description. And then I went back and watched it again after the description. And I just want to say, I hope that you being able to make such a beautiful visual representation of what you went through and are still going through, and turning that grief and sorrow and anger and loss into a piece of art helps you and it helps others. So thank you for being vulnerable and for sharing your film with us. And I mean that. Thank you. So, well, guys, I hate to end it on a kind of a emotional note, but that would be concluding this year's awards. Again, I want to thank you all for sharing your art and continue to create and inspire, please. I'd also like to thank Other Cinema, Criterion Channel, and Synthetic Software for being part of the awards packages. And until next year, guys, just stay tuned, keep creating and inspiring. Thanks.